The ship was silent, except for the soft hum of its engines. Outside the window, space stretched endlessly, a black ocean filled with stars. On that ship sat a girl named Ilara. She was young, only 19, and most of the crew whispered behind. Her back, they said she was weak. They said she did not belong here in the deep cold of space, where strength and courage decided who lived and who died. Ilara heard the whispers. She felt the eyes on her every time she walked into the control room. She tried to ignore them, but each word cut deeper than the last. The captain had only allowed her on this mission because her father had been a hero once, a man who sacrificed himself for the crew many years ago. Ilara carried his name, but not his respect. That night, as the ship glided past the silent rings of a dead planet, alarms suddenly blared. Red lights flashed across the walls, and the crew scrambled into action. Voice came over the intercom, sharp and urgent. Unknown object approaching. Prepare defenses. Ilara froze for a moment. Unknown object? Out here in this empty part of the galaxy? Nothing lived here. At least that's what they believed. The captain barked orders. Weapons powered up. Shields hummed alive. And then, out of the shadows, it appeared. A massive shape, bigger than their ship, crawling forward like a beast made of metal and fire. Its eyes eyes glowed bright red. It moved slowly but with purpose, like a predator that had already chosen its prey. The crew gasped. Some cursed under their breath. It's impossible, one of the soldiers whispered. No human ship is that big. Nothing out here should be alive. But it was alive or something close to it. Ilara's heart pounded in her chest. She stared at the creature ship, unable to look away. The crew prepared to fire, but before they could, a voice echoed across their coms. It was not human. It was deep, distorted, like the grinding of metal and the hiss of fire. Weak ones, leave this place. This is not your sky. The crew froze. They had faced pirates, raiders, and mercenaries before, but never something like this, never something that spoke to them as if they were children trespassing in a forbidden land. The captain tried to sound brave. This is human space. Identify yourself. The voice only laughed. A cruel, cold sound. Humans, always pretending to be strong. Always building machines to hide their fear. You are fragile. You are soft. You are weak. The word weak echoed in Ilara's ears like a knife. She clenched her fists, trying not to tremble. It was the same word the crew always used against her, but hearing it from this thing made it worse. Suddenly, the creature ship attacked. Red light cut across the darkness, smashing into their shields. The ship shook violently. Sparks flew from the walls. People screamed. The captain shouted, "Return fire, now!" Cannons roared. Missiles streaked into space, but the creature seemed almost amused. It swatted their attacks away like a hand brushing. Aside, dust. Within minutes, the human ship was breaking apart. Systems failed one by one. Engines flickered. Oxygen warnings flashed, and then, in the chaos, something happened that no one expected. Ilara's console lit up. Her station was never important, just a backup system, a piece of old tech nobody bothered with. But now, as if it had been waiting for her, it activated. A hidden program revealed itself, glowing across her screen. She stared in shock. It was her father's code, his signature. He had left something behind, something only she could use. Her. Hands hovered over the keys. She could feel the eyes of the crew on her. They were scared. They were desperate. And though they didn't believe in her, they had no other choice. The captain yelled, "What are you waiting for? Do something!" Ilara's heart raced. She had no idea what her father had left for her. The code was strange, old, almost alive. But she could not hesitate. She pressed the keys. The ship shuddered. A hidden system awoke, one that had been buried. Deep in its core, blue light spread across the walls, covering the ship in a protective glow. The enemy's red beams struck again, but this time the ship did not break. The light absorbed the attack, bending it, reshaping it, sending it back like a mirror. The crew gasped as the creature roared in anger. For the first time, it was hurt Elar. A sat frozen, her hands still on the console, her breath shaking. She had done it. She had turned weakness into strength, but she knew this was only the beginning. The voice came again, louder now, filled with rage. You dare use his fire? You dare stand against me, foolish child? You will burn. The ship trembled as the enemy prepared its full attack. Alara looked at the screen, then at the terrified faces around her. For the first time, she felt something rise inside her not. Fear, not weakness, but defiance. Maybe she was weak. Maybe they were right, but not tonight. Tonight, she would fight. The battle for survival had only just begun. The ship groaned under the pressure of the enemy's attack. Every wall seemed to shake, every light flickered like it would die any second. Smoke filled the air and people coughed, trying to keep control. But in the middle of the chaos, Elara kept her hands steady on the console. The strange blue shield that had awakened because of her was still holding. It pulsed with energy, bright and alive, like it was breathing. The enemy fired again and again, but each attack bounced back, striking the creature ship itself. For the first time, Predator seemed unsure. The crew stared at Alara as if they were seeing her for the first time. Just minutes ago, they had doubted her, whispered behind her back, called her weak. But now their lives were in her hands. The captain's voice broke the silence. What did you do? Alara's throat was dry. I don't know. My father's code. He left it hidden in the ship. The captain narrowed his eyes. He had known her father once. The man had been a legend. If this system was truly his creation, it meant only one thing. He had prepared for something the others never knew about. Something dangerous. The enemy's voice returned, colder than before. You cannot hide behind stolen fire forever. Light is not yours. It will consume you. Elara flinched. The words dug into her like claws. Was it true? Could this power destroy her as well as protect her? Before she could answer her own fears, the enemy lunged forward. Its massive arms stretched, out claws of burning metal slamming against the shield. The ship rocked violently. Sparks rained from the ceiling. One of the crew screamed as fire spread across a console. Shields dropping. Someone shouted. Ilara's heart skipped. She could feel the strain through her hands. The blue light was weakening, flickering. She didn't know how much longer it would last. Her mind raced. The code was not just a shield. She could feel it. Her father had not built something only to defend. There was more. Something hidden, waiting to be unlocked. She closed her eyes, ignoring the chaos around her, and let her fingers move across the keys. The code shifted and rearranged, lines of glowing symbols flowing across the screen like water. And then suddenly, the shield pulsed brighter. Not only brighter, sharper. The shield transformed into blades of light that shot outward, striking the creature. It screamed, a terrible metallic cry that made everyone on the ship cover their ears. The energy cut. Deep into its body, tearing away chunks of burning armor. The crew gasped. She's fighting back. Someone shouted. For the first time, hope filled the room. But Alara did not feel hope. She felt fear. The code inside her screen was not just reacting to her commands, it was leading her, guiding her hands, almost as if it was alive. Almost as if her father's spirit was reaching out from the past, telling her what to do. She whispered under her breath, "Father, is this really you?" The creature roared again, this time not in pain, but in rage. So, the fire lives. I should have crushed him long ago. Now his child dares to use it against me. Foolish. You cannot escape the fate of your bloodline. The crew looked at Alara in shock. Bloodline. Did the enemy know her father? The captain's eyes darkened. He turned toward Alara. What is it talking about? What did your father do? Alara shook her head. I don't know. He never told me anything. He just said one day I would understand why he chose to fight. The captain studied her, but there was no time for questions. The creature gathered energy again. Its whole body glowed red, brighter than ever, preparing for a strike that could end them all. Ilara felt her body tremble. The shield was strong but not unbreakable. If the next attack hit, the ship might not survive. The crew panicked. Some shouted to flee, others to fight. The captain tried to keep order, but fear was spreading fast. In the middle of it all, Ilara stood up. She looked at the screen, at the living code, and then at the enemy outside. For the first time in her life, she didn't feel like the weak one. She felt like the only one who could make a choice. She said firmly, "Don't run, don't surrender. If this thing is afraid of my father's fire, then that means it can be destroyed." The crew stared at her, shocked at her sudden courage. The captain hesitated, then gave a slow nod. "All right, do it." Ilara placed her hands back on the console. She pressed deeper into the code, unlocking something hidden even further down. A warning flashed across the screen. Core ignition sequence detected. The ship shook as energy built inside it. The walls glowed with blue fire. The crew grabbed onto rails, holding tight. Ilara whispered to herself, "This is it, Father Guide me." Outside, the creature roared, charging its final attack. The red light and the blue fire collided in the dark of space, creating a storm brighter than a sun. When the light cleared, silence filled the void. Both ships floated, damaged, smoke rising from their wounds, but neither had fallen, and the battle was not over. The blue fire faded slowly, leaving trails of smoke and broken sparks across the ship. The crew sat in silence, breathing heavily, their faces pale. They had survived the first storm, but they knew another was coming. The enemy ship floated ahead, damaged but still alive. Pieces of its armor drifted through space like burning meteors. Its red glow was weaker now, but its voice returned deeper, sharper, filled with fury. "You carry his flame, but you are nothing like him. You are only a shadow, a child playing." With fire, Ilara's hands tightened on the console. She wanted to answer, but her throat was dry. The crew was staring at her again, not with doubt this time, but with questions. The captain broke the silence. "Ilara, what is this fire? Why does it know your father's name? Tell us the truth." She shook her head. "I don't know." "Which never told me. He only said one thing before he left on his last mission." The captain leaned forward. "What did he say?" Ilara's voice was soft, trembling. He said, "One day the fire will call for you, and when it does, you must not run." The room grew quiet. The crew exchanged nervous glances. None of them understood. None of them could, but the enemy understood. Its voice rumbled through the speakers again, echoing like thunder. "Your father was not a hero. He was a thief. He stole from us, took the fire that was never meant for humans. He thought he could control it. He thought he could hide it in your bloodline. The fire always returns to its master." Ilara's heart stopped. A thief? Her father a man everyone called a hero? Could it be true? The captain slammed his fist against the rail. "Lies. Your kind have no masters here." But Ilara could not ignore the words. They pierced deeper than any weapon. She remembered nights when her father sat in silence, staring at the stars with a look of sorrow. He had carried a secret. Now she finally knew he had been afraid. The enemy laughed, a cold, broken sound. "You think you fight me? But you fight the fire itself. It will consume you as it consumed him." Ilara's eyes filled with tears. Her father had died protecting the crew. But had he really died fighting this very enemy? Was that why he never came back? The ship groaned. As systems flickered, the blue fire around them dimmed. The console flashed warnings. Energy core overheating. Power at 40%. They couldn't keep fighting like this. The captain turned to her. "Ilara, if your father left this power for you, then he believed in you. That means you're the only one who can finish what he started." Her hands shook. The crew was watching. The enemy was waiting. Every heartbeat echoed in her chest like a drum. She whispered to herself, "Am I strong enough? Or will I burn like him?" The console flickered again, and for a brief moment, she saw something new. A hidden message buried deep in the code. Her father's voice, recorded long ago. "Ilara, if you're hearing this, it means I'm gone. And it means the fire has chosen you." It is not a weapon. It is not a curse. It is a bond. It will fight with you if you let it, but if you fear it, it will destroy you. Tears rolled down her cheeks. The crew leaned in, listening. Her father's voice continued, "You are stronger. Then they say stronger than you believe. Do not let their words break you. Do not let fear own you. When the time comes, walk through the fire." The message ended. Silence filled the ship again. Alara wiped her tears. Her fear was still there, but it felt smaller now. Her father's words burned brighter than the enemy's threats. She stood up, her voice steady. "I'm not weak. Not anymore. If this fire is part of me, then I'll use it. Not to run, not to hide, but to finish what he started." The crew straightened. For the first time, they looked at her not as a child, not as the weak one, but as their leader. Outside, the enemy charged its weapons again. Red light grew across its body, preparing to end them once and for all. Leia placed her hands firmly on the console. The blue fire surged back to life, stronger than before, filling the ship with blinding light. The captain whispered, "What are you doing?" Alara's voice was calm, clear. "I'm not running anymore." The ship roared with energy, the fire surrounding it like wings. And then, without warning, Alara pushed forward, not to defend, but to attack. The two ships rushed at each other. Blue fire against red flame, as the darkness of space lit up like a second sun. The real battle had finally begun. The two ships slammed toward each other like storms colliding in the night. Blue fire against red flame. Every strike shook the stars around them. Every blast echoed like thunder across the silence of space. Ilara's hands moved quickly over the console. The fire responded to her, alive and fierce, growing brighter with every command. The ship seemed faster now, stronger, as if it had been waiting for her all along. The enemy roared, sending waves of burning red light. But Ilara's ship darted between them, cutting back with blades of blue fire. Each hit carved deeper into the monster's body, tearing away its armor. The crew clung to their stations, shouting as the battle raged. But their eyes kept turning toward Alara. The girl they once called weak was now the only thing keeping them alive. Still, the enemy's voice thundered in their ears. "You think you control it? Foolish child. The fire does not obey. It devours. It took your father, and it will take you." Ilara's jaw tightened. She remembered her father's voice in the hidden message. "It will fight with you if you let it. It will destroy you. No fear." She would not fear it. She closed her eyes for a moment and whispered, "I trust you, Father." The fire surged even brighter, wrapping the ship in wings of blue light. The crew shielded their eyes from the glow. The captain stared in awe. "She's becoming one with it." The enemy howled in rage and pain. Its body cracked with red fissures, spilling molten sparks into the void. But even wounded, it fought. Harder, desperate to crush her, than in the chaos. Something strange happened. The fire inside the console shifted again. A new image appeared, blurry at first, then clear. It was not code this time. It was a memory, her father's memory. She saw him young alive, standing on a battlefield long ago, not against humans, but against these same creatures. She saw him steal something glowing from their ship, a shard of blue flame, and bind it to his own vessel. She saw him carry it into battle, using it to protect his people. And she saw the enemy, the very same monster she fought now, roaring in fury. As her father escaped with the fire, the truth hit her like a blade. Her father had stolen it. The enemy had not lied. But he had stolen it to save humanity, to give them a chance to fight back. The memory faded, leaving Alara shaking. The crew noticed her pale face. The captain asked quickly, "What did you see?" Voice was quiet but firm. "My father. He did take the fire. But not for himself. He took it so humans could survive. He knew one day it would return. And now it's with me." The captain stared at her, then gave a sharp nod, then finished this. "Make his sacrifice mean something." The enemy shrieked, its voice full of hatred. "You carry his theft. You are no savior. You are a curse. The fire will not protect you. It will destroy everything you love. Lara's eyes burned with tears, but her voice did not break. No, the fire is not yours anymore. It chose him, and now it chooses me. Her hands slammed against the console. The fire responded with a burst so powerful it shook the entire ship. Blades of blue light shot outward, piercing the enemy's body. The creature screamed, twisting in agony as cracks spread across its armor. For a moment, it looked like victory. But then, the enemy's core opened. A massive red light swelled inside it, brighter than anything they had seen before. The crew gasped. "Captain, it's charging something. Something huge." Laris. Screen flashed warnings. Critical energy surge detected. The captain shouted, "Evasive maneuvers." But the enemy wasn't aiming at them. A red light pointed past their ship toward a distant colony world, a human world. Millions of lives, Dad. Hers. The monster wasn't trying to win this fight. It was going to burn everything. Her father died to protect. The fire within her pulsed, hot and urgent. Almost like a voice whispering in her veins, "Choose." Now her mind raced. She could pour all the fire into one strike, strong enough to destroy the enemy for good, but it might also destroy her ship. Or she could shield the colony, saving the people, but leaving the enemy alive to come again. Her chest ached with the weight of the choice. The crew waited, eyes wide, breath held, and Alara whispered to herself, "What would you do, Father?" The blue fire around her flickered like an answer, waiting for her command. The fate of millions hung in her hands. The warning alarm screamed across the ship. Red light from the enemy swelled larger, brighter, like a second sun about to explode. The crew's eyes went wide in horror as they saw where it was pointing. Not at them, not at the ship, but at the fore. Human colony far behind. A colony filled with families, children, millions of innocent lives. The crew erupted in panic. Some shouted to strike first. Others screamed to protect the colony. Their voices clashed like blades in the air. "If we hit them now, we can end it," one soldier yelled. "No, if we fail, the colony burns," another argued. "We don't have enough power for both." The captain slammed his hand against the rail. "Enough, everyone. Silence." But even his voice could not calm their fear. The crew looked at Alara. All eyes turned toward her, the girl they once doubted, now holding the fire in her hands. Her heart raced. She felt the fire pulsing through, her veins stronger than ever, whispering, urging her to choose. The console flickered with two paths, attack core or defend colony. Her fingers trembled. Her breath shook. She looked at the captain. "What should I do?" For once the captain did not answer. His hard eyes softened. "This is not my choice. The fire chose you, Alara. Only you can decide." The weight crushed her chest, she thought. Of her father, she thought of the colony. She thought of the crew around her waiting, afraid. But trusting her, one of the crew members stepped forward, desperate. "If you save the colony, we'll live to fight another day. Please, Alara, think of them." Another voice shouted, "No. If you don't destroy this monster now, it will come back even stronger. It won't stop until humanity is ashes." The ship shook as the enemy roared, charging more energy. The timer on her screen counted down 60 seconds until the strike. Alara's mind spun. Her father's words echoed again, "Do not let fear own you. When the time comes, walk through the fire." But what did it mean? Which path was right? Closed her eyes for a moment. In the darkness, she saw two visions. In one, she shielded the colony millions lived, but the enemy remained. In the other, she destroyed the enemy, but her ship and crew were lost in the blast. Both paths demanded sacrifice. Both paths were fire. The captain spoke quietly, breaking the silence. "Your father once gave his life for us. Maybe now it is your turn to decide what sacrifice means." Her chest tightened. Was this the destiny her father had carried all along? To make a choice no one else could bear? The countdown dropped to 30 seconds. The red glow grew brighter, shaking the stars. "Alara." opened her eyes. She looked at her crew, terrified but alive. She thought of the colony, of the people who had no idea death was already coming for them. And she thought of her father, standing against this same monster years ago, making his choice. Tears burned in her eyes, but her voice was steady when she spoke. "Then I will not run. I will not let fear decide for me. The fire chose me, and I will walk through it." Her hands hovered over the console. The crew held their breath. The captain's eyes locked on her, trusting her completely. 20 seconds left, Alara whispered, "Father, guide me." Her fingers pressed down. The console roared to life. The fire exploded around the ship, brighter than ever before, and in that blinding light she made her choice. The ship was drowned in blinding light. Blue fire and red flame collided in a storm that swallowed the stars. The crew screamed as the vessel shook violently, panels sparking, alarms wailing. No one could see. No one could hear. Only the roar of fire filled their world, and then silence. When the light faded, space was dark again. Smoke filled the ship. The crew coughed, blinking, trying to see through the haze. Systems flickered weakly, emergency lights glowing dim red. "Status report," the captain barked. No answer came at first. Consoles were dead, communication lines silent. Half the crew lay dazed on the floor. Sparks fell like rain from broken wires. "Alara," the captain shouted, rushing toward her station. She was still there. Her hands resting on the console, her face pale and covered in sweat. Eyes stared at the screen, wide and unblinking. The crew gathered around, whispering nervously. "What did she do? Did we hit the enemy? What about the colony?" No one knew. The stars outside were quiet, empty. The massive red glow was gone. But so was the enemy's ship. Had she destroyed it, or had it escaped? Ilara's hands trembled. She wanted to answer, but her voice would not come. Her body felt heavy, drained, as if the fire had taken something from her. The console flickered weakly, showing fragments of data. The crew leaned over her shoulder, desperate for answers. First came the colony's signal, faint, but alive. The room erupted in gasps. "They're still there. They survived. She saved them." Some of the crew cheered in relief, tears rolling down their faces. But their joy lasted only a moment. Another warning flashed on the console. "Enemy energy signature detected." The captain's eyes narrowed. "No, it's not over." Far in the distance, among the drifting debris, a small red spark glowed. Faint, weak, but alive. The enemy had survived. The crew's relief turned to fear. It's still out there. After all that, we didn't finish it. Ilara's heart sank. She had chosen to protect the colony. Millions were alive because of her, but the monster lived too. The captain placed a firm hand on her shoulder. "You saved them. That was the right choice." She turned to him, her voice weak. "But it will come back. Stronger, and next time, we may not stop it." The captain met her eyes. "Then next time, we'll be ready. And you," his voice softened, "you won't be alone." The crew looked at her differently now. It's not as the weak girl who didn't belong, but as the one who carried fire inside her. It's the one who made the impossible choice. Still, Alara could not shake the enemy's words. "Out. The fire will consume you." She could feel it inside her veins, burning, restless, hungry. As the ship limped forward, the crew working to repair what they could, Alara stared out the cracked window at the stars. Somewhere in the darkness, the enemy spark glowed. Watching, waiting, and deep inside her chest, the fire whispered again. This was not the end. This was only the beginning. The ship floated in silence, damaged but alive. The crew worked without rest, patching wires, sealing broken holes, trying to breathe life back into the vessel. Every scrape of metal, every spark reminded them how close they had come to death. Alara sat alone at her console. The blue fire inside the ship was quiet now, almost sleeping, but she could still feel it warm and restless in her veins. like a heartbeat that wasn't her own. She stared at her trembling hands. "What are you?" She whispered. No answer came, but when her fingers brushed the console, the fire stirred. The screen flickered, showing strange pattern symbols, not human. She realized with a chill that it wasn't only her father's code. The fire itself was trying to speak. She leaned closer, reading the glowing marks. They shifted, changed, then formed words she could understand. Chosen vessel, incomplete bond, balance or burn. Her heart raced. Vessel, balance. Did this mean she was not controlling the fire, but carrying it? Before she could think further, the captain approached. His face was tired, lined with worry, but his eyes were steady. "Ilara," he said quietly, "what you did saved millions. But you also saw our enemy is still alive. Can't face it again like this. We need to know what that fire really is." She hesitated, then nodded. "It's more than a weapon. It feels alive, like it's part of me now." The captain frowned. "Alive? Then it has a will of its own." Ilara lowered her eyes. "It warned me. It said, if I don't balance with it, it will consume me." The words made the captain pause. He studied her carefully, then spoke with quiet weight. "Your father carried this fire before you. He held it long enough to save us, but it killed him in the end. You must learn what he could not. You must master it." Her chest tightened. Master it, could she? Or would she meet the same fate as her father? That night, when the crew rested, Ilara stayed awake. She closed her eyes and reached into the fire, not with her hands, but with her mind. Instantly, her vision shifted. Stood in a place of endless light and shadow, a world made of fire. Flames roared around her, not burning her, but watching her. They whispered in countless voices, sharp and soft, old and young. One voice rose above the rest, deep, powerful. "You are not ready. You fear me still." Ilara clenched her fists. "I don't fear you, I save them. I walk through the fire." The voice rumbled like thunder. "You saved them, but you let the enemy live. Fear guided you, not strength." Her heart sank. Was it right? Did she choose the weaker path? She shouted back, her voice shaking. "I chose life. My father gave his life to protect humanity, and I will do the same if I must. That is not fear, that is strength." The flames trembled, as if listening. Then the voice spoke again. "If you are strength, then prove it. The enemy returns. Fire is old, hungry, endless. Yours is young, fragile, unbound. If you cannot balance with me, both you and your people will burn." The vision shattered. Ilara gasped, falling forward onto her console. Sweat drenched her skin. Her heart pounded like drums of war. She knew now her fight was not only against the enemy, it was against herself. If she could not bond with the fire completely, it would consume her before the battle even began. The captain found her there, pale and shaking. "Ilara, what happened?" Her voice was weak, but firm. "It spoke to me. It said, the enemy is coming back, and this time it won't stop. If I don't master the fire, we're all finished." The captain's face hardened. "Then we have only one chance. You must become what your father could not. You must become the fire." Ilara stared out the window at the stars. Somewhere in the dark, she felt the enemy's spark growing stronger, feeding, waiting. The final storm was coming, and she whispered, almost to herself, "Then I will walk through the fire again, and this time I will not fall." The stars shook as the enemy returned. From the darkness, its massive form rose again, rebuilt with burning armor, stronger than before. Red fire blazed across its body, brighter than any sun, painting the void in blood. The crew stared in horror. It survived all that? It's bigger, stronger. How do we fight that? The captain's voice was hard but steady. "We fight because we have no choice." Ilara stood at her console. Her hands trembled, not with fear, but with power. The fire inside her pulsed, alive, waiting. She remembered the vision. Balance or burn. This was it, the final test. She closed her eyes and whispered, "I am not afraid," the blue fire answered. It surged through her veins, wrapping the ship in blazing wings of light. The crew shielded their eyes as the vessel transformed, glowing like a star reborn. The enemy roared, "You cannot stop me. The fire is mine." Ilara's eyes snapped open, burning with blue light. Her voice was calm, unshaken. "No, it's mine now, and I will end you." The battle began. The enemy unleashed waves of red fire, tearing space apart. But Ilara's ship danced through the storm, blades of blue fire cutting like lightning. Every strike shook the void, every clash brighter than 1,000 suns. The crew clung to their stations, their fear turning into awe. They were not watching a weak girl anymore. They were watching the fire itself, alive in human form. Still, the enemy fought harder. Its core opened, glowing with endless energy. It hurled a storm of burning light that could tear worlds apart. Ilara felt the fire rage. Inside her, pushing, straining. If she unleashed it fully, it would destroy the enemy, but it might consume her with it. The captain shouted, "Ilara, no human can survive that much power." She looked at him, her eyes glowing brighter than the stars. "Then I am no longer only human." She placed both hands on the console. The fire roared, rising higher, wrapping the ship in a storm of blue light. She felt her father's presence there, guiding her, steadying her. His voice whispered inside her mind, "You are stronger than they say, stronger than I was. Walk through the fire, Ilara." Tears streamed down her cheeks, but her smile was fierce. "Thank you, Father." She let go. The fire exploded outward, not as a weapon, but as a storm pure, unstoppable. It swallowed the enemy's red flame, tearing through its armor, ripping its body apart. The creature screamed, its voice breaking into nothingness, as the fire consumed it completely. For a moment, space itself burned blue. And then, silence. When the light faded, the enemy was gone. Only drifting ash remained, glowing faintly before vanishing into the stars. The crew stared in disbelief. "It's over. She destroyed it. We're alive." The captain looked at Ilara. She sat at her console, her head bowed, her hands still glowing faintly. For a moment, he feared she had been lost to the fire. "Ilara," he called. Slowly, she lifted her head. Her eyes were still bright, but softer now. The fire inside her had not consumed her. It had become part of her. She had balanced with it. Her voice was calm, steady. "It's finished." The crew cheered, some crying, some laughing, their relief echoing through the ship. But Ilara only stared out the window at the endless stars. The fire whispered inside her, not as rage, not as hunger, but as a quiet companion. She had not been destroyed. She had been reborn. The captain stepped beside her. His voice was low, respectful. "Your father would be proud." Ilara's lips curved into the faintest smile. "No, he would say the fire belongs to me now, and it does." The ship drifted forward, its wounds deep, but its spirit unbroken. Humanity was safe for now. Ilara leaned back in her chair, closing, her eyes letting the fire rest inside her. Once they had called her weak. Once she had believed them, but weakness had walked through fire, come out stronger than anyone had ever imagined, and the stars were watching.